Hello everybody, welcome to Short Shot Archery. Anthony here, and yes, it's pretty cold in the shooting shack. I actually have the heater on, and it's actually snowing outside. But that is not going to stop us from me showing you how to align your limbs on the Chaser Python riser. It has a really unique, yet pretty simple and easy limb alignment system. And I'm going to be showing you that today. So I got my biter blocks handy. I have a set of Allen keys. They do provide Allen keys with the Chaser Archery Python riser, but I have my own personal set that I like to use. And I'm going to be showing you how to adjust your limbs and how the limb alignment system works on this riser. To start off aligning limbs on the Chaser Archery Python riser, you need to understand a few things, and you're going to need a few items. First off, the items. Some biter blocks. You're also going to want an Allen key for loosening up the storage and adjustment sides on the Chaser Python riser. Also, we're going to take a look. We're going to go down the bow, and as you can see, the limbs are already in line. This is set to the standard setting that comes, from the factory. That standard setting is 5 washers in total, a 0.3, a 0.15, and 3 0.1s, all in millimeters. Those are the thicknesses of the washers. And with that setting, both on the top and the bottom, as you saw before, my limbs are perfectly in alignment. Now, of course, I'm going to adjust this bow anyway so that you guys can actually see how this whole process works, and hence the point of this video. So to start off, you need to understand probably one major or two major concepts depending on how you look at it. So we're going to look at the top part of the riser here, and looking at this, we have a left side and we have a right side. The left side is your adjustment side. You unscrew the bolts here, and you can add washers or take away washers. By adding washers and increasing the thickness on this side, you're going to make your string go to the left. If you take away washers from this side, your string is going to go towards the right. Now, you're probably wondering, well, what's up with the right-hand side over here? The right-hand side of this riser, both the top and the bottom, is just for storage of additional washers. So the right side, both the top and the bottom, will have 5 additional washers. They will each have 1.3, 0.15, and they will each have 3.1 millimeter thick washers. Another additional point beyond that is Chaser also provided a baggie for even more washers, just in case I happen to lose some. And from my understanding, this is something that comes standard with all Chaser Python risers. So now we want to break out our Allen key. I am using a standard Allen key and the 5/32 Allen key size, and that fits very well into the hole. You can also use a size 4 metric Allen key set, and this is probably the preferred size, but you can get away with the 5/32. But you should probably go with the M4, just because it does fit a little bit better than the 5/32. But if you only have one on hand for some odd reason, then you could use one and not the other. Of course, Chaser does supply Allen wrenches of the appropriate sizes for your riser when purchasing this riser. Alright, so now let's get into actually adjusting the limb alignment on this riser. Now, one big note before we get started, for the Chaser Python riser, you can actually make the limb alignment adjustments with the bow fully strung. It says this in the directions for aligning the limbs provided by Chaser Archery. So I am going to be doing just that, because the way you're adjusting the limb alignment on this riser, it's very safe, and it just makes sense overall, and hopefully I can demonstrate that in this video as I now proceed to align the top limb, or misalign the top limb on this riser, so that I can show you guys how it shifts over. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to grab our Allen key and we're going to loosen up the storage side, just enough so it's loose. So one little twist there. I'm going to come around the other side and I'm going to loosen up the storage side. Now there's going to be some important points coming up after we actually fully loosen this up. A little bit more. Alright, there's the screw, and it looks like we have a couple washers with us. So screw, the cap, and here is one of the 5 washers that are on this side of the riser, the adjustment side of the riser. So looking at this washer here, this is the 0.1 millimeter that I currently have in my hand. There are still 2 more 0.1s on this alignment side, and there is a 0.15 and a 0.3 millimeter washers still on this side. So there's 4 more washers if we take out this one. For this instance, we're actually just going to add washers to this for this demonstration. So I'm actually going to fully take out the storage side, because I'm going to take washers from the storage side. So there goes the bolt for that. And we have a whole bunch of washers that just fell out, but that's all right. Of course, this is going to be a lot easier to do by yourself, and not trying to film and demonstrate how this system works all at the same time. So this is actually a really easy process, and it's actually kind of fun. Alright, now that I have my 5 washers that were from the storage side over here, I can add 1 or 2 of them to the limb alignment side over here. Now, you're probably wondering, well, why do they have different thickness washers? And it just depends on how much you want to move, or how much you need to move your limbs left or right to get them into proper alignment. So for this video, since I'm demonstrating how the limb alignment works on this riser, I'm going to be adding a 0.15 and a 0.3 millimeter washers. You probably don't need to add this much to move your limbs, but for this video, this should make the limbs move very noticeably, so that way you, the viewer, can actually see how much they change. Because remember, in the beginning of this video, I showed you the limb alignment of this bow, and it was spot on. So we're going to see how much it changes when we add in total 0.45 millimeters. So we're going to screw in that alignment side, because your alignment side needs to be tightened first. So the left side gets tightened first when making adjustments. The right side gets tightened second, because if you tighten this right side over here first, you're going to affect your alignment from the left side. Because if you tighten first, it's going to be tight, so you're taking out all the play, and you're going to shift your limbs more or less than what you're expecting, because your limb alignment dowel isn't going to be in the correct position. So by tightening the adjustment side first and making sure that it is fully tight, it shifts this limb alignment dowel that's in here all the way over to the left hand side. And then all you're doing with the storage side is you're just closing it up and keeping it from being able to slide or shift around. You're just making it one solid piece again. So since we added in 2 spacers on the left alignment side, we're going to put back the 3 extra back to the storage side on the right side of this riser. So to make this a little easier to video, I've moved over to the right side of this riser. I have placed our spacers in there. I put the cover back on, and now all I do is tighten this up. Alright, so that's nice and tight. And in the same video, we're going to go and we're going to move the camera up. And let's see, has that made a visual difference? Yes, it has. As you can see now, we are now missing the black line on this side, because if I limit my string a little bit, you can see it was over there before, but because we changed the alignment of the limbs by moving spacers from the storage side and adding them to the alignment side on the left here, we have moved the string to the left. Now if we did the opposite and we took away spacers on the left alignment side here and we just put them on the storage side, it would cause this whole limb alignment to shift and the string to shift to the right hand side. And again, we can go and pan all the way down to the bottom of this riser, and we can check out our other limb. And as it focuses there, as you can see, the alignment of the top limb has minorly affected the alignment of the bottom limb. And this is something I have seen in other bows as well. That's why when you do limb alignments, you want to keep double checking to see if there is any effect on the other limb, because you want your bow in line. So this is very expected, and it's something that I've experienced with other risers. The alignment of this bow is very unique, and it's a very interesting system. I think it's a pretty effective system, and it definitely does its job. As you can see, adding the 0.45 millimeters of extra washer space has, shifted over our string quite a bit. And that's something that you can really, tune and really customize quite well, since Chaser is offering you 3 different size spacers, and they're offering you plenty of spacers. Remember, each side of this riser, top and bottom, each of those has 5 spacers in it. Well, that about wraps up how to align the limbs on the Chaser Python riser. Hopefully you found it pretty easy, and hopefully I did a good job explaining it to you. It is still cold in here, so please, warm thoughts for Anthony over here at Sure Shot Archery. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Hope it was a help. Be sure to check out the Chaser Archery website. I have a link in the description if you want to learn more about the bow, where you can get it, and just additional information from the manufacturer themselves. Other than that, thank you. Please like and subscribe, and as always, happy shooting.